Hi, and welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. I haven't done one of these for, well, I did one the other day about the Iran thing, but previously it's been 2 months gone to YouTube. I didn't know it was that long. So the last one I did was about the Sky News showing the Iran footage of the missile hitting the plane. Since then, Iran have admitted that they accidentally shot it down. But I still don't get the footage. It still doesn't make sense to me. The way that, especially if you pause it after the explosion, you can still see what. If my understanding is, they said the rocket was from the left of the screen, but that seems longer than the plane, which obviously passes across it. And the other thing is, after the explosion, you can still see the object, which I assume is the plane, and a light, which I assume is the missile. Or they could be the other way around. That could be the plane, and that could be the missile. I don't know how the missile would seem longer than the plane, but either way, the thing I don't understand is how come they're both. My understanding would be that if a missile hit a plane, it wouldn't exist anymore. It wouldn't just fly out the other side. It's not like 9/11. So I don't know why you can still see two objects. And the other thing is, like I said before, why is it goes out? Because I've seen now another footage which shows from, it looks like a motorway. You can Google all this if you want to see it. It looks like it's from a motorway, and it's tracking the ball of flames, as it were, coming down. Now it's bright there, so I don't know why it disappeared in the original footage, unless it's been edited there and that's where it cuts, and then because they kept it on a loop, so that's a possibility, I guess. But the way it flies down also looks like it's trying to land, because it doesn't. You'd think if it got hit by a missile, it would just sort of plummet, as it were, or fall into pieces and come down. But it looks like it's coming into land. It's nice. The trajectory is quite, like landing style. It's not coming. So I was surprised by that. And then there's another footage where they've got a lot of footage, yeah, of the explosion. When it hits the ground, I assume you see lots of debris and flames flying across towards a camera, which I don't know why it would have been. Was it in a field, or I don't know where that camera's from. But anyway, so, I mean, it just goes to show. Sometimes, like, I didn't think that footage looked like the actual incident they described. But it just shows that sometimes you can be wrong, because Iran admitted that they did it. I assume there wouldn't be any reason for them to admit that they did it if they didn't. But maybe that footage still isn't the actual genuine footage, who knows. But yeah, it goes to show you can still be wrong about these things. It just seemed odd to me, that you could still see both things. So the other thing I want to talk about was recently, the reason why I haven't been doing these Pursuit of Truth is because I've had a chest infection and a cough, that I've been coughing for the last 7-8 weeks. So it all started I think it was early November. I may one day get all the video clips, because I did actually record little clips of this story, as it were. And it started, well, I don't know whether it started, I can't prove it, but I was perfectly fine, healthy, normal. And then I had a flu jab at my work. And I remember I did a video, actually, I didn't put it on YouTube, but I did a video about having the flu jab, because I was, just in case, And I remember feeling a little bit strange at that time, but, that could be, psychosomatic. But a few days after that, I had a flu. And it wasn't a cold, because I was aching, I had a temperature, I was tired, it was a proper flu. I don't get that many flus. I've only had, maybe in my life, I've been quite lucky, maybe 2, maybe 3 flus. A lot of them have been in later life than earlier life. I don't remember ever having flus when I was very young. And these days colds tend to be chest orientated. But yeah, it happened, and it went away, and then another one came almost instantly. Now I don't know whether it was another one or whether it was just the same one had sort of gone down and then jumped back up again. Because, I mean, I didn't test it, and when I went to the GP, eventually they didn't test it. They didn't do a swab and say you have this or whatever. They don't do any of that kind of stuff. It's a shame, because then they could have checked whether it was. Because I don't know, with the flu vaccination, I'm sure people can comment on this. I can't remember his name now. He will definitely know. With the flu vaccination, I've read different things online whether they actually do contain a live element. I believe that they did, but I've seen others that suggest that they don't. So I don't know. On the internet you can find every single answer both ways. It's like an Orwellian nightmare when it comes to finding things. So yeah, I don't know whether what I got was the thing that I was actually supposed to be protected from. And I mean, I don't know. I've had flu jabs before, and I've been perfectly fine. But this one, I mean, it could be a coincidence. Yes, that's possible. I can't prove either way, but it's just strange that I put this toxin into my body, and I came with 2 flus, one that's turned into a chest infection. Well, currently that's what the GP said it was. I mean, he didn't actually run any tests. It was based on, my giving him what was happening to me about the coughing, the temperature, the tiredness, and that kind of stuff. And he listened to my chest, and he said it was inflamed on the left side. And so he deduced it was a lower tract infection, chest infection. Now, I don't know if that's going to turn out to have been something else or whatever, because I'm going to have an x-ray, because the coughing is still going. They checked me recently. Luckily, I'm not coughing now. So I have days where I cough more than others, but every day I do cough. I haven't had a day where I haven't coughed for over 7 weeks now. I can't wait. I hope it does just go away and I can live a life without coughing. It's driving me insane to keep coughing all the time. So, yeah, when I went to the GP, with the cough still being there of 7 weeks and my throat being sore and red, they checked my chest, checked my blood pressure had gone up since this. My blood pressure's always been fine, but since these incidents it's now gone up into, like the borderline for hypertension, like pre-hypertension type area, 140 over 80 something. But actually this time it was actually okay. Still on the higher side, but it was okay. At least it was normal. And they listened to my chest and they said that was normal, and checked my sinuses, my glands and all that kind of stuff. Everything was normal, so they don't really know why I'm still coughing. Could be a post-nostril drip, so they've given me a thing for that. So I'm trying that out, hoping that will finish it off. But I'm going to have an x-ray, which I'm worried about, because I don't know whether just because my chest sounds okay through a stethoscope, does that mean there's something else lurking? I guess once I get the x-ray and that they either say it's clear, or because she asked me, the nurse practitioner that I saw, did I have had pneumonia? I don't know whether she was talking like previously or whether she was talking that this time. I mean, I wouldn't know, but the doctor said it was a chest infection, not pneumonia, and I'm sure it would be worse if I should have known if it was that, because the only thing I had was antibiotics, which did help, but it didn't get rid of the cough. And I've got a lung test, the spirometer or something like that, where you have to, that's a 40-minute thing, and then have a blood test that they want to check as well. So we'll know after those things, but I thought I'd keep you updated. It just goes because I know I've mentioned many times on these things about vaccinations and stuff, so I've actually got an example myself of a possibility of this is what can happen. And I know that my wife, she had the flu vaccination, but that was at the GP. She also had the 2 flu type things. She had a flu and it sort of went away, and then another one came. But luckily hers didn't turn into chest infection. But I remember her coughing was really bad, and I had to get like the Lemsip, the strong one, and that got rid of it. I've tried all those things, and Vicks and inhalation and all that stuff. It still can't get rid of this cough. But I've managed to speak for 9 minutes without coughing. I think I coughed once, and it does. I have days, but I can feel I'm getting out of breath speaking. But yeah, so we'll see then whether this is anything or not. But I just thought I'd keep a record of this so that, you know, I'm not saying don't take vaccinations, but it was interesting, like saying that I've talked about them many times, and now I have an example where I've had a toxin put into me, and these, you know, I've never felt this ill ever, and I can't prove because they never did any tests at the GP, and I don't have any way of proving that when I was given that, that's why I'm like this. You know, it could be a coincidence that I got these flus like my wife did, and I know there's people at work who've also had the same, they've had the same coughing thing. There's a lot of this coughing going around. Maybe on the train journey I caught it, who knows? But it is just a little bit weird that I was perfectly fine before this flu vaccination that I took. It's definitely, you know, from me personally, I'm not saying anyone else, that everyone else has to make their own mind up, and I'm not saying that I've got proof of this, but what I'm saying, me personally, I would definitely be thinking twice before I take the next one, because I personally feel that I was perfectly fine. I took the flu vaccination and then I've got this ill. And I know there'll be a lot of people saying, yeah, but, you know, there's loads of people who have flu vaccinations, they're all fine. Well, yeah, that's true. But every medicine, as you know, has a side effect to it. And like with the Primados scandal and etc., there's a lot of medicines that get out there that may not affect everyone, but may affect certain people, and we don't always know why that is. They run tests, you know, that where they will screen 20 people, and they will try the medicine on those people. One will be a placebo, the rest will be at different levels of the medicine, and they will see the side effects. And if you've ever picked up some of these medicine side effects, you know, the medicine you will get from a GP, some of them have, you know, stroke, death, heart attack as possibilities. So, you know, I don't know with the flu vaccinations, because they tend not to give you a list of those things. They just stick it in your arm and that's it. But I'm sure there are, you know, like, you know, most people can take Nurofen, but some people, if they take a Nurofen, they get Stevens-Johnson syndrome. You have to look that one up. Or, you know, some people, they can eat nuts, but there's one person who, when he eats a nut, he'll end up dying. His throat will close up. Or there's some people that can walk around and they get stung by bees and they're fine. One person will get stung by a bee and he ends up dying. So, you know, you can't just say just because, you know, nuts are safe because everyone eats nuts. Yes, they are safe, but for that one person who's allergic to them, no, they're not. So that's all I can maybe put it down to, that I'm just one of those persons that in this case, the side effect was how I got ill. Anyway, we'll soon find out. I'll keep you updated. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.